Welcome everyone to an introduction to the Online Writing Center. My name is Julie Johnson Archer. I'm the Writing Center Director. I'm joined by Emmy Amirati, our Assistant Director. Would you like to say hi, Emmy? Emmy is already hard at work in the chat room, helping us with some accessibility notes for how to view the transcript. And Emmy can't unmute. Oh no. One moment. I want to make sure she can speak when she would like to. There, Emmy, I made you co-host.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
We're all defrosting from Christmas and the holidays, so welcome to the new year. We are still getting started up and running, and we're right there with you if you feel a little bit like you're in de-thaw mode. All right, so as I mentioned, we're recording this webinar. And feel free throughout the webinar to ask questions through the chat room. So Emmy and I will be able to see your questions and provide as much answers as we can. And then if there are follow-up questions, we'll share another way you can reach the Writing Center, multiple ways you can reach the Writing Center. So let's get started with a brief introduction to who we are here at the ACU Online Writing Center. If you've been exploring My ACU and the various resources you have access to as a new ACU student, you might have seen that the Online Writing Center has a group in My ACU. This is the best place to seek the Writing Center. Whether you need a resource, you need to connect to ask a question, or locate our tutoring schedule to make an appointment. So I'll go through all of the different locations, sort of a walkthrough here in just a moment. So I'll show you what that looks like. But on our group, we have a video tutorial for how to make an appointment, how to find writing resources, and more. And looks like here I have even a typo in my first slide. So just giving you a warm welcome to say even Writing Center staff make writing mistakes, and we could all use an extra pair of eyes to find little errors like that where we can make our writing better. So that's why we're here. We offer two types of tutoring appointments. The first are our most popular. They are our email asynchronous appointments. And that simply means you can upload your draft of whatever you're working on, and a tutor will send you feedback via email within 24 hours of your appointment time. So I'll go over how to make that type of appointment in a moment, but that works for people who often struggle to find a real-time availability. We're all very busy. So this can work for really busy schedules for you to still receive critical writing feedback to help you improve and your papers and improve your writing over time. The second option is our Zoom appointments, and this is just like it sounds. You show up in a Zoom room with the tutor, and you can actually talk and look at your paper in real time together. Just like our webinars, all of our appointments are listed in Central Time, so make a note that if you aren't in Central Time, you'll have to do a little extra calculating when you're looking at the time zones. And just as a welcome message, the Writing Center tutors will work with you at any stage of your writing. So whether you are brand new to your first college level class, maybe this is your first graduate level class, or you're coming back after having another degree, and no matter your level of experience, no matter how far you are in your coursework, or no matter even how far you are on a particular assignment, you can work with Writing Center tutors. We are excited and happy to do so. So, in a nutshell, if you don't hear anything else, take this away with you. The Writing Center submission process is very simple. When you are going to make a writing center appointment, there are just two steps you'll need to make sure you do. The first is to actually schedule an appointment in our system, which I will share with you in just a moment. And then the second step is to upload your file, whether you're working on a written essay, even a discussion post, you're working on a PowerPoint presentation with slides or other types of assignments. Make sure you upload something for your tutor to see, um, and and then they can give you feedback. So before I move further in these slides, let me go ahead and walk you through what some of these resources look like so you're more familiar with them and ready to use them come time co throughout your course when you're actually really busy and working on your writing. All right, so you should now see my web browser. I'm logged into my ACU. And Emmy, if you don't mind sharing a few of these links with folks, if they want to follow along, you can click on some of these links, which we'll share in the chat room. And as you do so, you can just follow along with me to save these. So the first one is our MyACU group, and I recommend bookmarking this if you would like a shortcut. And to do that, you just push the star on the Online Writing Center webpage. From here, you'll see different posts. So this is an interactive group. You can think of this as sort of like a Facebook page for the Writing Center. It's mainly where we will post our major resources. You can always come here to, again, see about us, schedule an appointment, find our resources, and more. But you can also use this page to post questions. Just keep in mind that all the other students also will see your questions, so it is a bit of a public space. If you're not interested in asking a question here in the public space, you can also email us directly. So if you have a quick writing question, or you have a question about your appointment and you want to make sure it gets to the right person, our email address is onlinewritingcenter@acu.edu. All right, so those are already a couple of ways you can reach the Writing Center and our staff of amazing tutors. You can also access just more information about us. You can actually see upcoming webinars under the Events tab. So we post what week it is in the term, and then you can also access our webinars from here. Other resources, including our APA self-study course. We will talk briefly about APA tonight because that is a major aspect of all courses at ACU Online and the writing that you'll be doing. If you're not sure even what I'm talking about with APA, that's okay. We have a lot of resources to help you know, how do I cite my sources? How do I format my papers? I'm being asked to use APA style. What does that mean? Well, this self-study course is a really great place to start to work through a few of the basics on your own time and even quiz yourself and go through some of that on your own. All right, so this is the MyACU group. If you have Writing Center related questions or needs, come to this place first. Now, if you are to click on the Writing Resources tab, for example, it will pull up our blog page. And this is really our warehouse where we post all kinds of resources. I won't go through all of them, but just so you know what's here, you can read about us, including our mission and who's on the staff. You can connect with a person maybe who has a similar background as you, similar interests, academic interests, etc. Um, Under services is where you can find information about our tutoring appointments and offerings. I'll show you our writing webinars page. Those of you who are here live, you've made it to the webinar room. So if you are wanting to come to a Writing Center webinar, this is the same Zoom room that we'll use for all of our live events. It's We try and make it pretty simple for you. So from this web page, though, you can see that we list all of our upcoming webinars for the given term. This term is spring one. We've already posted a webinar from last night. Emmy and Dr. Constantine offered this one about avoiding the back to school jitters. If you are interested in more information and an in-depth dive into some of these resources that we offer, that's a short video that you can check out now. We post all of our webinars right here on this page, so by this time tomorrow, you'll see the video along with the slide deck that you can download and refer back to. Below the current schedule, which we offer a lot of webinars, as you can see this term, you can actually scroll down and see a warehouse of already recorded webinars. If you want to get a head start, week 0 is a really nice time to do that. And I saw we had a lot of MFT students here, so I'll just use that as an example. If you are in the MFT program, you are going to be taking MFTO courses, and you can click on that tab, depending on the type of courses you're going to be taking, and see all of the recorded webinars we already have available. So if you're about to take MFT 615, you can take a look and get a head start, is what I tried to say. Look at all these webinars that we have dedicated to either topics that relate directly to the writing you'll be doing in that course, or even specific assignments that we've tailored an instructional video to go along with your courses. So you can get a sneak peek essentially into what you'll be doing throughout that course and even future courses. So this is a really large warehouse, and it might feel actually a little overwhelming. So one other tip to navigate this webinar's page, if you're interested, is to just click the Command or Control F and search. So let's say I'm interested in AI. That is a hot topic right now. The Writing Center has some things to say about that. What does the Writing Center say about it? Well, if you were to search this, just the term AI with a space after it, so that you're just getting AI on its own, you can see we already have some webinars on that topic. So that's a great way to start searching based on a topic that you know I would actually like to learn more about that. Same with APA. That's going to have a lot of hits because we do a lot with APA. All right, so I'm moving through these resources. I'm just going to check if there are any questions. Thank you, Emmy, for posting all of these resources in the chat room. Please feel free to click on those, explore them as we go, and ask questions as well.
And I would like to jump in and share that when Julie said that we can access the slide decks from this page, keep in mind that all the links in the slide decks will be active. So for instance, if you click on the slide deck from Dr. Constantine's webinar last night, all the links in his slide deck will be active, and it's kind of a neat little table of contents or clickable thing that you can use to get to different places that we can provide support for you, including links to really good free resources like Microsoft Word and Adobe Acrobat. So that might be a good deck to start with.
I agree. Yeah, thank you for highlighting that. All right, so from our web page, the last thing I'll just go ahead and show you briefly, under resources, the very first tab is APA 7. And as we have time at the end of tonight's webinar, I will go through a demonstration using our APA undergraduate paper template. We have a variety of templates. A general paper template. This is geared toward graduate writers and doctoral writers. Anyone can use it though. Both of these are very similar. The undergraduate just has a little bit less uh, in it based on what's required for undergraduate courses. We've got videos for how to use these templates since we have some MFT students. a plug that we have an MFTO capstone template. That's definitely something you'll be wanting to use later in your program, along with a newly minted video that Emmy just completed on how to use that template. Same with our doctoral templates, right? So those templates are a real time saver. They are already formatted completely in APA for you. And again, I'll be sure to show you what that looks like a little bit here at the end of this webinar. Oh, and I see Dr. Basil Considine is in the room. He is our doctoral writing specialist. And so if you are interested in uh, his work, he is the mastermind behind a lot of our webinars. So feel free to RSVP for our webinars to get reminders, and you'll hear a lot more from Dr. Considine. All right, people are responding and helping answer questions in the chat room. Just want to make sure I also verbalize, so anyone who might have missed the question, but to get to the classes that are listed under the webinars, we'll go to, this is our blog, so we'll go under services, we'll go to writing webinars, scroll past the current schedule of webinars down to this tabbed guide. So again, that's on our webinars page. Great question. Yeah, and if I go through too quickly, feel free to ask another clarifying question. So we've got another question about the different types of webinars we offer. This question is, are there any on how to write third person for graduate level reflections? For example, omitting first person. That's a really good question, and one that I have some comments on. The main one being, first, check with your assignment. Oftentimes, when you are asked to write a reflective paper in your courses, it's totally okay to use first person. And that runs counter to a lot of our assumptions about graduate level writing, because we think it needs to be really objective and never use the word I or me and my beliefs, right? But if you're writing an APA style, it's actually permissible and even encouraged to use first person when you are reflecting on your own beliefs. So unless your professor specifically says, do not use first person, do not use I, me, my, then it's okay in APA style to do that. That's a really good question. If Emmy or Basil wants to chime in as well, feel free to do so. From here on our little tour, before we go right back to our slides, I do want to show you our tutoring schedule. This is the star of the show, really, in the Writing Center. So I want to make sure you feel comfortable how to access our tutoring schedule. So when you click on the link to schedule an appointment, for the very first time, you're going to have a registration form, so you can go ahead and fill that out. Even if you want to do that as we're going tonight, get that checked off your to-do list. Feel free to do that. If you have any questions filling the form out, now's a great time to ask those. It'll just ask you those questions the very first time you log in. You'll log in using your ACU credentials, just like you do for my ACU. Okay, so, and Emmy has posted a guide from APA about writing in first person, or the use of first person in writing. All right, so when you log in and you've gone through that process, you're automatically going to come up with this appointment search feature, and a little bit to note about it. With the ACU Online Writing Center, you have access to 2 appointments per week. So every single week, you get 2 new appointments. You can use those anytime during the week. We also offer tutoring throughout the weekends and in the evenings. So we really try to have a variety of available times throughout the week to work with all sorts of students' schedules. And we know some students are in different time zones. So um, that's the main limit to the Writing Center appointments. You can also schedule these appointments up to 2 weeks in advance. So you can go ahead and schedule an appointment for next week or in 2 weeks if you think you'll want that by the time that comes around and you're already working on your assignments in your courses. So you can select a preferred appointment date, or you can just leave it if you want to try and find one for today. For today, I'm going to use an example, and we are open for tutoring. Let's say I'm interested in something at 8 p.m. This is Central Time, right after this webinar concludes. Yeah, I would like to see if there's anything available. I'm not sure who the staff are yet if you're a new student, so you can leave it to any available. You can also select someone if you know who you want to work with. Just to note, you can leave the next two blank, but you can also limit to the type of tutoring you are particularly interested in. For example, we have specializations in DNP, our nursing students, for disability, for our EDD doctoral students, graduate, MFT. Our multilingual specialist offers Spanish tutoring specifically if you're interested in that, as well as undergraduate. Again, you do not have to fill this out. You can work with any one of our tutors, no matter your writing level or stage. Um, but if you are interested in that, we have folks who are dedicated, especially to working, for example, with MFT students. So you are welcome to limit that search. And lastly, the two types of meetings, again, are email asynchronous, meaning you're not meeting in a real time. You're just uploading your paper for feedback, or Zoom. I'll say any available. So once you've kind of narrowed down your search, we're going to find appointments. And if there are perfect matches, those show up first. If there are close matches, those show up next. And then you can always get on a waiting list or start the process over. Now, in order to actually reserve this appointment, you do have to click reserve. So you'll choose which one you want and fill out a form that will pop up. I'll go over that form in just a minute, but this is just the basic how to make an appointment with our schedule. If you are also a more visual person, you can, let's click start over. You can also go down under Find Appointments to view the calendar display. Some students actually prefer this uh, because it shows you all of the appointments, kind of a bird's eye view, and gives you that kind of choice. So you can see, okay, I could work with Dr. Dale Smith tomorrow evening. I could meet with Christy in Zoom tomorrow afternoon, and so forth. All right, so this is the normal view, though, the appointment search. And then once you do create your appointments, a couple of things happen. You'll get an email confirming that you made your appointment. And then your appointments will also show up on the right side of the screen here. So you can always go back in to edit your appointment form. You can go in to upload your draft of what you're working on and things like that. All right, so if you have any questions about making an appointment, again, feel free to ask those. We are going to go over it a little bit more here in a moment. We're going to switch back to our slides. Just highlighting a few of our upcoming webinars. The Introduction to Graduate Writing in APA Style is this Thursday. So if you are a graduate writer, even if you're an undergraduate writer, this would be a really nice one to get into the swing of things and learn more about APA style. Dr. Considine offers recurring live edit webinars where you can just drop in and learn a lot more about the editing process. These are often geared toward dissertation and doctoral or graduate level writers. However, all are welcome. and you might learn something new. I know I sure learn a lot when I attend other people's webinars. Quick note, if you see a webinar that says virtual release, that means it's asynchronous. In other words, it's not a Zoom event. Instead, this example incorporating scripture using APA style this Sunday. We will be virtually releasing that on our website. So essentially, it's just a video recording that you can access on our webinars webpage. We also offer open office hours. These are just drop-in sessions, so you can bring your writing that you're working on, ask questions in real time without having made a formal writing center appointment. So we hope you will mark your calendars, RSVP for those webinars if you want um, reminders. And you don't have to RSVP to come, but the benefit of RSVPing early is that you'll get a reminder about the webinar, and then you'll also get the recording automatically emailed to you. So I do recommend RSVPing, and you can actually, if you want, RSVP for tonight's webinar. I will see it if you go ahead and do that now. And I'll make sure I add you to that email to send you this video after we're done. Great question in the chat room. How long do the appointments usually last? Every appointment is automatically 1 hour. So that's a good question. 1 hour long. Here are those key writing resources we previewed from last night's webinar as well. We've already gone over most of these, some of these, but on our website, we have a dedicated page our multilingual writing specialist created for multilingual and ESL students. So make use of those resources. Our APA self-study course. You'll likely be using the library very quickly in your courses. So we've linked to their main page, along with a couple of key resources that ACU gives you access to for free, including Grammarly Premium and the Microsoft Office suite. So Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, etc. So make sure you're using your ACU email to access Word and Microsoft Office and accessing Grammarly as well. All right, so we have gone through a good introduction to the Writing Center. We're going to go over a few more ways to get writing feedback and sort of the ways that it'll be helpful to do so. And getting into those habits here early on is really going to serve you in the long run. And then we know that getting started can either be anxiety-inducing, we might face writer's block. Getting started on your first assignment can be pretty daunting. So we're going to kickstart that process with a brief demo of our template. So in addition to the Writing Center, you also have access to tutor.com and Grammarly. We'll go through the Writing Center very quickly because I've already gone over this. It is free, I didn't mention that. And all of our tutors are trained in APA, experienced with ACU online programs and assignments. And again, our multilingual writing specialists can offer tutoring in Spanish. And so this is really a lot of the benefits of using the Writing Center over using tutor.com, although using both is just fine. But if you go to tutor.com, they are an external service, so they're not going to be as familiar with ACU specific assignments and expectations like the Writing Center tutors are. These links, again, you can access through the slides later, so I've just plugged them in to make the slide deck, a good resource for you. But we've already gone over, I think, all of these details. A quick note on, again, you can also access the Writing Center group through Canvas. It's on the left-hand navigation menu. All right, we've gone over the MyECU group. We've gone over the different displays for our tutoring appointments. Once you find an appointment that you want and you click reserve, here's what the appointment form looks like. It will pop up with the email address of that tutor. So if you have a question, you can directly email that tutor ahead of your appointment. Or, if something comes up and you're going to be 20 minutes late, you can send your tutor an email, and that's likely going to be okay. We really appreciate your communication about what you need. So here's information on the form about how to submit your paper. The only thing that might not work out as seamlessly as we'd hope is if the file is larger than 5 MB. In that case, our system can't handle that, so you'll have to email it directly to your tutor again, which is why you'll have access to that email address. All right, so you'll fill out this form to the best of your ability. The very first text box is a Canvas link to the assignment directions and rubric. I'll show you an example of that, but basically it's that browser link. So you'll copy and paste it directly from your assignment description. And again, I'll show you an example of that. But that is really helpful and necessary for the tutor so that they can see exactly what assignment you're working on and even provide you feedback on areas of the prompt that you might have missed, might not have been answered completely, and we can help you with that. All right. Next, you can specify anything you would like help with. Again, the more specific you are here, the more specific and specialized your feedback will be. And we really like to tailor our feedback to your requests. You can even post comments from your professors if you're not sure how to implement them. Um, so anything you want here, or even if you are submitting a draft and you want help specifically on the introduction paragraph, you can let us know there and we'll definitely focus our feedback based on your request. Some details about the assignment that you're working on, and if you'd like us to know anything else about you. The most important thing is to click Create Appointment, and that's what saves it in the system, and then the appointment will show up when you go back to the home page in the schedule, and you'll receive that confirmation email. You don't have to upload a paper right when you make your appointment. So let's say right now you haven't started writing for your courses, most likely, I'm guessing, unless you are way ahead of the game somehow. But maybe you want to go ahead and schedule an appointment for 2 weeks in advance. That's fine. Even tonight, you can go in and schedule an appointment, and you don't have to upload anything. You can always go back to the schedule, click on your appointment, and it'll open this form up. And then you can add your paper once you're ready. So just make sure you add your paper or whatever you're working on before the time of the appointment. And that way your tutor has something to give you feedback on. All right, I'm going to check to see if I've missed any questions. So a great question about are there any webinars on Zotero or Google Scholar for saving sources as you are doing research? So yes, Emmy has posted a couple of links for you on how to download Zotero, but I definitely want to reiterate her second comment on the library's distance web page. They've got a really nice webinar on how to use Zotero. And if you have follow-up questions, that's really what the lunch and learn sessions are. So you might have seen an email from the library, and if not, you will. Likely very soon, about lunch and learn opportunities for you to drop in and ask questions of the librarians. And if you are having any trouble accessing the RSVP, you can send your ACU email address either directly to me, or just put it in the chat room, and I'll make sure we get you added to that email uh, with tonight's recording. You can always cancel an appointment up to 30 minutes in advance through the Writing Center schedule. If you accidentally miss an appointment, here's what that means. Missing an appointment is meaning that you forgot to upload a paper for an email appointment, forgot to upload it to that form, or obviously, if you don't show up for a Zoom meeting, that counts as a missed appointment. You're allowed to miss 2 appointments per term, and on the third missed appointment, you'll lose access to tutoring for that term. So we know stuff comes up. Again, usually we can accommodate if you're a little late and you let us know, but do try to cancel appointments in advance if you know something is going to come up. All right. So uploading your file for a Writing Center appointment, we already went through that, but just a reminder, you can upload other things other than Word documents, including PowerPoints, PDFs, etc. So a note, if you do use the online writing center, tutors will automatically run certain types of papers through Turnitin, which is an academic integrity resource that ECU uses. So we'll run undergraduate papers, literature reviews, MFT capstone papers, and papers that have some red flags, like there are no citations, but there's a lot of research in the paper, or there are abrupt shifts in the style or the formatting. Um, we'll run those through and give you that report if there are concerns, things that you need to revise in order to avoid accidental plagiarism or work on your citations and things like that. We have a video resource for you too, because there are Turnitin self-checkers in Canvas. So if you want to go ahead and run something through Canvas, you can. And you can do that by going to Canvas first, any course in Canvas, and clicking on Modules, Course Information, and then Turnitin self-check. So that's a resource for you. And if you want help learning, how do I interpret this Turnitin similarity report that will be generated, we have a video tutorial on that as well. All right, I'm just checking the chat to see if there are any other questions. Can the tutoring be for anything or online writing specifically? So we do work primarily with writing and writing related needs, but that can also extend into other parts of the writing process, like brainstorming. So you might not even have something written, but you need help understanding the prompt and how do I get started or plan this out. That's a great opportunity to use our Zoom appointments. Um, Time management sometimes comes into play, even with learning how your writing process works best for you. Um, Dr. Constantine has answered uh, that question with even more great details. So just in the past week, he said he's worked on with students on papers, dissertations, job letters, resumes, and other things. If you do need help, though, with something like math, you can use tutor.com for that. So they offer tutoring in a variety of different subjects. Great question also about the front page of APA format. And you're not alone in struggling with how should I format the cover page of a paper. So we will definitely take a look at that here in just a minute, but I definitely recommend coming to one of our upcoming APA webinars and then also downloading our APA template because that has that cover page all ready to go for you. All right, so I'm going to go through a couple of notes about using tutor.com, just in case you are interested in that as well. You can also access tutor.com from Canvas. It's called online tutoring, usually says tutor.com. It's in the left-hand navigation menu. For the very first time, you do need to go through Canvas, so don't try going straight to tutor.com. Because going through Canvas will make sure that you access your free hours through ACU. So you'll select forgot your password, you'll get an email in your ACU inbox, and then you can log in using a new password. So from then on, after you've done that, you can go straight to tutor.com and use that ACU email to log in. Again, you can refer back to these slides as you need them, and perhaps when you're first making your first tutor.com appointment or your first writing center appointment. Same with accessing Grammarly Premium. We have a link here with specific instructions on how to access that and use that code. Um, we also wanted to plug how about using generative AI. So Grammarly does not have, your ACU subscription does not have an AI feature turned on in Grammarly. But you might also be curious about these other generative AI sources out there. You might want to play around with those. But if you are interested, we highly recommend reading the Writing Center's latest 5-part series of blog posts all about this topic. From when is it maybe a good idea to use AI? When is it not a good idea? How much can we really trust what AI spits out at us? How much of it can we or should we use? All of these questions are valid, good things to ask, and it's helpful to hear from the Writing Center staff for some guidance in that really large topic. A lot of great links are being shared in the chat room. All right, so we're going to get into the last portion of our webinar. But before we do, you might be feeling a number of things. I won't name how you should be feeling, but if you are a little nervous or a little overwhelmed, keep in mind that we naturally get better at the things we do all the time. You're going to get a lot of practice, and usually the Writing Center is one of the best places to go to get that practice and get extra support. Writing improvement takes place in community. We sometimes think that writing is a very isolated act, but we all benefit from getting feedback and another pair of eyes on what we're thinking and writing. Visiting the online writing center also strongly associated with improved performance on assignments, and it's free, so you should give us a try. So when it comes to your first writing assignment, you might be wondering, what is going to be expected of me here? How should I get started? You might be feeling pressed for time if you are already working or caretaking, and that can cause a feast or famine type of study and writing habit where you might be rushing your coursework or procrastinating for a variety of reasons. We know that all of this can be part of your context. So don't feel daunted. You're not alone in that if you are there. One thing we always recommend, in addition to starting with our APA template, is pulling up the assignment description to use it as an outline for your paper. So let's go over an example. And again, you might want to follow along with me by downloading the APA template. We're going to look at a specific assignment, Core 115, Week 2, Assignment 1. If you are not in this class, don't worry. We are going to just generally show how you might take an assignment and start working on the APA template with it. All right, so week 2, assignment 1, I'm going to pull this up and show you the example assignment, and then I'll show you the APA template as well. If you do download the template, make sure you go ahead and open it in Microsoft Word rather than Google Docs. So again, don't use Google Docs for any of our APA templates, as Google Docs is not as powerful to maintain all of the APA formatting that we've already embedded in the document. So if you happen to be taking Core 115, you're going to get a sneak peek of a week 2 assignment. This one is called Evaluating Beliefs and Source Validity. So every assignment in Canvas will look something like this, where you've got an assignment description. Sometimes it's long, like this one. Other times it might be short, followed by a rubric. Both of these are essential for understanding what you're going to be graded on and how you'll be graded. Okay, so as I mentioned, when you are making a Writing Center appointment, we need you to plug in the link to your Canvas assignment. Here's what I'm talking about. This acuonline.instructure.com with all of these numbers, that's the direct link to this page. So if I were making a Writing Center appointment because I'm working on this assignment, I would open this page up, copy this link, and paste it into the appointment form. Okay, I'm going to pause and make sure I'm not missing any questions. Excellent resources being shared in the chat. All right. So if we were to say, okay, this is my assignment. We've read through the assignment fully. That's important. But now I have to go take my kid to school and go to work, and I've forgotten what the assignment is, and it's 2 days later, I've slept. Now, okay, what am I supposed to do? Couple of things. Pull up the assignment description again, or at the beginning of your week, pull up the APA template and plug in the main aspects from this prompt as your outline. That way, every time you open up your paper to write, you're not looking at a blank screen. You've already got the main pieces of your assignment straight from this assignment prompt in outline format. Let me demonstrate. Pulling up the APA template. All right. So here's the APA template pulled up in Microsoft Word. Again, feel free to download this, open it in Word, and follow along. And if you have other questions, feel free to type them in the chat. So before I go into the outlining process that I just mentioned, someone asked, what does the cover page look like in APA? Well, here's the APA cover page that's in all of our templates. It's already got page numbers ready to go for you. And then these function as templates that you can replace for each item. So for the title of your paper here, we might say week 2, assignment 1. As you can see, different aspects are already here, like it's bolded, it's centered, it uses Times New Roman 12-point font. All of that's automatic, so you don't even have to worry about manually formatting these items. And really, that's intended to save you time. But the more you use our template, the more your eye will catch things that doesn't quite look right. Okay, so you would plug in your name, plug in your degree program, the course number and the name of your course, the instructor, and the date. Now, your instructor might ask you to also include something else like the page, the word count. You might put that under the date. Anything else your professor wants, you can add it there. But this is a generic APA formatted cover page, and this does go on every assignment you write. If you're writing Anything that really needs to be submitted as a Word document, that's an essay, you'll have a cover page just like this. And if you're a little bit concerned because this will be your first time using APA format, making a Writing Center appointment early on and asking your tutor, hey, can you help me check my APA formatting? That's a great way to get started learning. And that way the pressure's off a little bit. It's not all on you. You can have help with this process, and that's why we exist. All right. Making sure I am seeing all the questions. Okay. Someone asked a good question that shows that they have been familiar with APA in the past. Shouldn't the title be in all caps? So in APA 6th edition, the older edition, yes, we used to have a running head at the top of the page, the very top, along the same line as the page number. And it would say running head, colon, and then the title of your paper is in all caps. APA 7th edition, which is the current edition that we are using, um, they did away with the running head for student papers altogether. So our template doesn't have that, and you don't need that either. So unless you're going to publish something in a scholarly journal for publication, you don't need to worry about the running head. Yeah, really good question. And just to reiterate, someone asked, use Microsoft Word instead of Google Docs, right? Yes, use Microsoft Word for any of our templates instead of Google Docs. Google Docs is a fine place to draft your ideas. It's a great place because it's online, right? And you can maybe collaborate and brainstorm. But when it comes time to actually writing your papers and you really need it to be an APA format, Microsoft Word in our template is the best way to go. All right, so we do have a video that explains more features of using the template. For example, we have styles for all of our different APA headings. I'm not going to get into all of the APA headings, different levels of headings, APA citations and references. We do have more webinars coming up where we will dig into that. But as you can see, just a quick overview of the APA template gives you an idea of what some of these different section headings could look like in your paper, along with what your references page should look like. So it's a really nice way to just get a visual of what an APA paper should look like. Now, let's go back to the assignment really briefly. And I'm going to copy and paste something in. Get back to Word. Okay. So let's say I don't really have time to devote to writing full length paragraphs right now, but I have 10 minutes. Let me make an outline for this paper. In this case, I have 5 minutes left of this webinar, so let's see how much I can do in 5 minutes. As you can see, when you paste something into the template, the formatting doesn't always automatically align with our template. So that's an important note if you do want to paste something in from the internet, paste something in from Google Docs. The formatting might change like this. That's okay because of the paste options here, where you can select to match the destination formatting. Now, as you can see, all right, now this has the same font, double spacing. It generally looks more aligned with the template text. Okay, so now we can delete all of the template text here. And really, we had it easy with this assignment because it had a bulleted list already. This is almost a complete outline of what we're supposed to do in this week 2, assignment 1 paper. Okay, so we can start plugging things in. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a bullet point here. I might make this a sub bullet point. Make this a sub bullet point, right? You can make things as detailed as you want, or just have a bulleted list. An outline doesn't have to look super fancy. It doesn't even have to look any certain way. Usually you won't be submitting the outline unless you're taking English 111, which I am teaching this course this term. And one of the assignments, I think, has you submit an outline, but that's okay. You can use the bullet feature, the number feature, or the multi-level list feature in Word to help you with that. But as you can see, we can just start plugging things in as part of this outline. Let's make this part not quite as far. It really wants to be a subsection. We'll align it with the part 1. Now, as you go through the week, you can always come back to this paper and start thinking, all right, I need to answer this question. What are some of the grounds upon which you believe this position to be true? At least 2. And you've got this, it's straight from the assignment. You can start answering that using the assignment text or the same wording of the question. So what are some of the grounds upon which you believe? You can start answering that. Some of the grounds upon which I believe, again, there's that word I, first person, because this is a personal reflection. Now, this is a really nice example of using the template text as a sentence starter. This will help you stay on track and make sure you're answering the exact question from the prompt. It'll also help your professor see that you're answering that part of the prompt really quickly. So it'll help them give you a better grade. Anything we can do to help them do that is great. All right, so this is just a really quick, brief example of how to take your assignment description and plug it into the APA template as a starting point. This is just a starting point. Everybody's writing process can look different, and you can get support from writing tutors at any point in your writing process. I hope it's been helpful, though, to see what it could look like to get started so that maybe come this time next week when you are looking at your first assignments, you don't feel quite as daunted or alone. That's really our goal in the Writing Center. All right, so we're going to wrap up here. I am going to go through just a couple more slides and I'll stick around a few more minutes past the hour if there are any other questions. But as we mentioned, there's a lot of upcoming APA webinars that you can go to. Introduction to APA is a great one that's coming up on January 14th. Now, we've got some more slides in here about writing and planning habits that complement your writing process and your available time. I'm not going to go through all of these. As you can see, there are different tips for how you can even use the Writing Center as part of your writing process. Please go through these slides if you are interested, and you might learn or have some encouragement that you can take away from them. To close us out, if you do have follow-up questions, again, our shared team email is onlinewritingcenter@acu.edu. We hope you'll schedule an appointment with us soon and access the Writing Center resources, ones we've shared and ones that you find on your own. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope you have a wonderful start to the Spring 1 term.